master, yeah, the representative of God, which was Noah at that time. He was probably teaching people enlightenment through direct contact with God within. So God's beloved at that time must have been Noah. So at that time he revealed to his son his true identity, that like, I am God's beloved. He has to at this time, even though his son has never believed him, and he probably has never told anyone up to this moment that he is God's beloved. But in this time of dire emergency, he has to tell his son, take refuge in God's beloved, being God's representative, like Jesus, Buddha, Mohammed, Guru Nanak, Mahavira, etc., you know, the great master of all time. Now, so in this time of emergency and urgency, only God's beloved can save you. There's no more God grace even. Do you know why? Because there is a limit time for God's grace. Like, okay, the karmic law has extended to 3 more years due to the prayers of humanity. Yeah, please save us. Please show us the way. Help us. Do not destroy our planet. Do not destroy us. Yeah, etc., etc. And some enlightened people intervene, also praying for them, and say, let us give them some more time. I can fix this. I can tell them to return to their righteous self. Please give us some time. So maybe heaven, grace, God's grace, had extended to a certain period of time. But at this moment, when Noah is already on his boat, the time of grace has been stopped. Yes, finished. The deadline is there. The flood is already there. You see what I mean? No more grace. Too late. So he said that at this time, you know, in this storm, there's no refuge. In this storm even, it's not just the rising water, it's stormy, windy, everything. And the son is still holding on to his ego. Can you believe such ego? They exist. And it serves only to kill you, inside out. Kill your spiritual progress, kill your soul. Not kill your soul, but kill the knowledge that you have a soul, and kill your body too. What a pity. All he does is just step on the boat, and cannot do that. What stops him? The ego. The ego makes him feel like what he believed was correct, and what his father say is incorrect, is not true. And now that he even knows that what his father say is true, he against him even more. Because he feels shattered, you know, his ego shattered, his belief shattered. At that moment, he cannot think straight, yeah? He just feels shocked, confused, and his ego doesn't let him admit that he's wrong. Okay, in ordinary circumstance, you can stay there, argue back and forth, yeah? Or can think about it. But in such a situation, if you hold on to this kind of ego, you're dead. Right? There's no time to argue. But such is the force of ego. I mean, it's difficult to explain about the ego, but it's just a kind of fixed belief, you know, in yourself that you are this, you are that, and whatever you think is right. This is the kind of thing that stops you from knowing the truth, of knowing your great self. Because you're holding on to your small self. And you think that it's your small self. It's not even your small self. It doesn't exist. Whatever you think you are, it's just a bunch of thought, you know, a bunch of gain knowledge, a bunch of belief. It's not even yourself. Just thinking of the mind or the knowledge that you have gained somewhere. That's it. So he said to his son, we should take refuge in God's beloved. This is probably the first time he ever used his position, his real identity, to persuade his son. Because, as you know, mostly the master would never tell people that I am this and I am that. He probably just say, oh, God has made me do this and God wants me to do that. But he would never proclaim that I am God's beloved. Yeah, which he is actually, but mostly the master, they don't say that. But this is an emergency. So he say, God's beloved, mean himself. You should take refuge in God's beloved, because nothing else work right now. That's what he said. Okay? So, but the son say, when have I ever taken your advice? He asked his father. In this stormy weather, flooding like that, everybody else already drowned around him. All the village, the house is already submerged in water. And he still talk like that. Can you imagine what kind of ego he has? Huh? When have ever I taken your advice? Your words mean nothing to me. In either word, leave me alone, O little father. Can you believe this? O little father, leave me alone. Your words mean nothing to me. My goodness, even your enemy wouldn't do this to you. Huh? In time of emergency, even your enemy would jump on the boat and maybe argue with you later. But this kind of son, do you think he is really the son? Must be the reincarnation of Maya, of Satan, of the opposite force, of the negative power that has infiltrated himself into the family of such a great benevolent master in order to make trouble, to block his mission, to cause misery, disappointment, and weaken his physical, mental power, whatever way he can, to stop the mission of the master. Therefore, even in the last minute of the battle between yin and yang, he is still on the opposite side. Now we can see very clearly, right? He's not the son of Noah. You can see or not? So, sometimes in a family of a virtuous person, it happens that there's an appearance of something of the opposite direction, like this so-called son of Noah. The Buddha also say that the negative power cannot destroy him, cannot disturb him. So the negative power uses his closest one, closest disciple, to trouble him. That's always the case. The Buddha say the same. And who betrayed Jesus but his own, one of the most trusted disciples? You know what I mean? Yes. And who betrayed Buddha also? His own trusted cousin. But such is the work of negative and positive power. It has always been like that. Where there is goodness, oftentimes there's badness next to it. Yeah. Like we and our shadow. Yeah? Okay. So Noah did not give up still. Of course, it's his son. Yeah? Or anyone. If he see anyone in danger like this, of course he try his best to persuade the person to, to follow him for safety, But, so he continued, don't do this, don't do this. This is no time for self-conceit. Until now, you have shown contempt for me and for God. Now God is showing disdain. Be careful. Your disdain means nothing to God. Yes. So even in this situation, the father is still trying very hard to reason with this stubborn, full of ego son. He thinks if he goes against the father, that should be like the whole world watching or something, or everybody clapping hands around him. Such is the ego. Even no one there watching, they still to show off. They still want to show that he is right, even at the risk of his own safety. He said, up till now you show disdain for me and for God. And now it's the opposite direction. That's what he means. God is showing disdain. And your disdain means nothing to God. I mean, please, even, he's so desperate already. He even arguing such a petty thing that please come up, you know. You tell him that it means nothing. Nobody around here. God doesn't care what you think of him anyway. Whether you show contempt for God or for me, nobody cares. God doesn't care. So just come up to the boat. But no. No. God is not begotten. He continued. God has said, young man, don't strut. Old man, don't be proud. Husband, have no lust. Lady, I am not coy. All that helps in my presence is utter and complete helplessness. That means God saying that. Whatever power in God's presence means nothing. So, Canaan replied, Father, you have been saying this for years. Oh God, typical. You must be insane to think I'll listen now. Oh, who is insane? I have my own wisdom. Huh? Such a wisdom. I'm astonished. I have my own wisdom. I don't need your tiresome preaching. Can you believe that? This is typical. It sometimes happens not to such a grave degree, but in some case, you know, even what I say is correct or good. I just take it for granted, you know. So they're already used to with their work and all that, and they think they know everything already. Anyway, it's the same in the family, you know. That's why it's difficult to talk to your husband, your wife, or your children, or your friend, or your, you know, relatives about the path that you're going. Even though it's correct and logical to their ears even if they know it's correct. They just don't want to follow because it's you who said it. Who are you to tell me that you know better than I am? This is the trouble with the ego. And this is how civilizations have perished. That's how many galaxies have been destroyed, disappeared, because of the ego of the mind.